This $50 underground fridge keeps food fresh for 6 to 12 months. For the price of one grocery trip, you can build a vault that keeps food crisp for 6 to 12 months with zero electricity. No fridge, no freezer, no power bill. Just cold, dark, humid earth doing what it has done for 10,000 years. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to build one 3 different ways for 3 different budgets. What to store inside, how long everything lasts, and how to pest-proof and mold-proof it so you never lose a single carrot to rot. Let's build. Here's what almost nobody talks about when they talk about food storage. The most advanced food preservation technology ever invented isn't a refrigerator, it's a hole in the ground. Before electricity, before canning, before freeze-drying, before any of it, humans kept food alive through winter by understanding 3 things: temperature, humidity, and airflow. And they did it so well that root cellars kept families fed for months on end, through some of the harshest winters in history, without a single watt of power. That knowledge didn't disappear, it just got buried under a century of convenience culture. Right now, as grocery prices climb and more people think seriously about food security, it's coming back. A properly built root cellar isn't a survival gimmick, it's a system. And once you understand the physics behind it, you'll realize the earth itself is doing almost all the work for you. Let's start there, the physics. Why the earth is the perfect refrigerator. Dig down about 4 feet in most North America, and you hit something remarkable. The temperature stabilizes, not perfectly, shifts with the seasons, but it hovers between 32 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. That sweet spot is exactly what most root vegetables need to stay crisp and alive without freezing. This happens because of something called thermal mass. Soil absorbs heat slowly and releases it slowly. In summer, the deep earth stays cool, because it's still catching up to surface temperatures. In winter, it stays relatively warm because it's still releasing the heat it absorbed in summer. The deeper you go, the more stable it gets. That's your refrigeration system. Free, permanent, no moving parts. Now add humidity. Most root vegetables need 90 to 95% relative humidity to stay crisp, much higher than your fridge, which actually dries food out over time. The soil around a root cellar provides that moisture naturally, but too much humidity causes rot and mold, so you need controlled airflow. This is where the physics gets elegant. You use 2 vents. One inlet pipe goes in low, near the floor. One outlet pipe exits high, near the ceiling or roof. Cold air sinks. Warm, moist air rises. The inlet pulls fresh, cold air in from outside. The outlet releases warm, stale air from the top. This creates a slow, passive circulation that maintains the right temperature and humidity without any fans or electricity. Inlet low, outlet high. That's the whole system. Get that right, and everything else follows. The 3 builds. Now let's talk construction. You don't need a backhoe, a contractor, or a $5,000 renovation. There are 3 builds that cost between $30 and $150 that anyone with basic tools and a free weekend can do. We'll go from simplest to most ambitious. Build 1. The buried tote. Budget. $30 to $50. This is the entry-level build, and it works surprisingly well. You need a large plastic storage tote, the kind you can buy at any hardware store for $15 to $20, a drill, some gravel, and a shovel. Here's how it works. Drill a series of small holes around the sides and bottom of the tote for drainage and airflow. Line the bottom with 2 to 3 inches of gravel for drainage. Dig a hole in the ground, ideally on a north-facing slope, or against the shaded north side of a structure, deep enough to bury the tote up to its lid. Place the tote in the hole, backfill around it, and cover the lid with a thick layer of straw bales or a piece of old carpet weighted down with a board. The insulation on top is critical. It prevents the contents from freezing in hard winters and keeps them from warming in early spring. What you've just built is a mini cellar that sits at ground temperature year-round. It's not glamorous, but it holds 2 to 3 bushels of root vegetables and costs you the price of dinner out, the key upgrades that make it perform better. Wrap the outside of the tote in burlap or old blankets before backfilling to add another layer of insulation. Drill one slightly larger hole near the top edge and run a short piece of PVC pipe up through the lid for passive venting. Cap it with a mesh screen to keep pests out. This build is perfect for renters, people with small yards, or anyone who wants to test the concept before committing to something bigger. Build 2, the barrel and ground. Budget, $50 to $100. This is the build most serious backyard growers use because it scales up easily and performs extremely well. You need a 55-gallon food-grade barrel. You can often find these for free or very cheap from restaurants, breweries, car washes, and food manufacturers. Check Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. People give these away. The food-grade designation matters. You don't want something that held chemicals. Dig a hole deep enough to bury the barrel at a 30 to 45 degree angle, with only the lid end sticking out of the ground. The angle is important. It helps with drainage and makes the lid easier to access in winter when the ground is frozen or snow-covered. Line the bottom of the hole with gravel for drainage. Before you bury it, drill a series of ventilation holes near the top edge of the barrel, the end that'll be closest to the surface. Cover those holes with mesh hardware cloth stapled in place to block rodents. Lower the barrel into the hole, pack soil tightly around it, and mound the excavated dirt over the top for extra insulation. Cover the exposed lid with straw bales or a foam board insulation blanket during the coldest months. Some people build a simple wooden hatch over the lid, just 4 boards forming a small box, and fill it with straw. That extra few inches of insulation is the difference between food that stays crisp and food that freezes solid. A single 55-gallon barrel holds an impressive amount of produce, easily enough to store carrots, beets, and turnips for an entire winter for a family of 4. Build 3. The earthbag mini cellar. Budget? $100 to $150. This is the serious build. It takes more time, a full weekend, maybe 2. But what you end up with is a walk-in style underground space that can hold hundreds of pounds of food and lasts for decades. Earthbag construction uses polypropylene sandbags filled with a mixture of soil and a small amount of sand or clay for stability. The bags are stacked in offset rows like bricks, tamped down firmly with a hand, tamper, and held together by barbed wire laid between each course. It sounds rustic. It is insanely strong. Earthbag structures have withstood earthquakes and hurricanes. For a root cellar, you're digging a rectangular pit roughly 4 feet deep, 4 feet wide, and 6 feet long. Stack earthbag walls up from the base of the pit, creating a small room. Cap it with a roof of corrugated metal or pressure-treated lumber covered in soil for maximum insulation. Add a simple wooden door frame and a well-insulated door. Even a foam board-lined plywood door works. Run 2 PVC pipes through the wall, 1 low near the floor for the cold air inlet, 1 high near the ceiling for the warm air outlet. Screen both ends with hardware cloth. This build stores serious quantities, multiple bushels of 10 or more different crops simultaneously. It's a genuine food security asset. And because the thermal mass of the surrounding soil does all the refrigeration, it costs nothing to run for the rest of your life. If you're finding this useful and you like the kind of content I make, please support me by subscribing. It costs you nothing and it means the world to me. Now let's talk about what actually goes inside, what to store, and how long it lasts. This is where people make the most mistakes. Not in the build, but in what they put in it, how they pack it, and whether they understand that different crops have different needs. Now let's go through the best performers. Potatoes, the king of root cellar storage. In the right conditions, 38 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, high humidity, complete darkness. Potatoes store for 5 to 8 months easily. Light is the enemy. It triggers the production of solanine, a mildly toxic compound that turns skins green. Keep them in darkness, loose in crates or packed in dry sawdust, and never wash them before storing. Moisture on the skin accelerates rot. Let any dirt stay on until you're ready to use them. Carrots, one of the most satisfying things to store, because they actually get sweeter over time. In cold storage, the starch converts slowly to sugar in the cold. Pack them in boxes of slightly damp sand. Not wet, not dry. Damp. The sand maintains humidity around each carrot individually without letting them touch each other, which prevents rot from spreading. Stored this way, carrots last 4 to 6 months easily, often longer. Beets, same sand packing method as carrots. Twist off the tops, don't cut them, leaving about an inch of stem to prevent the beet from bleeding out. They store 3 to 5 months in cool, moist conditions. Cabbage. Here's the one that surprises people. Cabbage stores extraordinarily well, up to 3 to 4 months, but it releases ethylene gas and a strong smell as it ages. Never store cabbage in the same space as apples or root vegetables that absorb flavors easily. Dedicated cabbage storage, or at minimum a sealed container, is the move. Wrap individual heads in newspaper and store them on shelves rather than packing them together. Apples. This is the big one. The thing that makes people's eyes light up when they discover root celery. Certain heritage apple varieties, not the ones bred for grocery stores, but older varieties like Cortland, Northern Spy, and Keepsake store for 3 to 5 months in near freezing temperatures. Individual apples wrapped in newspaper, stored in single layers, checked monthly for any signs of rot. One bad apple really does ruin the barrel. Remove anything soft or spotted immediately. Important note, apples and potatoes are enemies in a root cellar. Apples release ethylene gas, which causes potatoes to sprout prematurely. Keep them separated, either in different containers, different sections of the cellar, or different builds entirely. The packing materials, sand versus sawdust. Most people don't think carefully about this, but the packing material you use makes a significant difference. Damp sand is the gold standard for carrots, beets, parsnips, celeriac, and turnips. It maintains consistent humidity around each root, prevents them from drying out and going limp, and doesn't introduce any organic matter that could harbor mold. Use builder's sand, not beach sand. Beach sand often contains salt and organic debris. Sawdust works well for potatoes and some other crops, but it needs to be dry. Damp sawdust creates conditions where mold can take hold. The advantage of sawdust is that it's extremely light. It's free from most sawmills, and it's easy to dig through to retrieve individual vegetables without disturbing the whole pile. Dry straw is another option, particularly for wrapping around the outside of a storage crate to add insulation, or for packing around cabbages. It's less moisture consistent than sand, but more insulating. The rule of thumb, anything that wants high humidity goes in damp sand. Anything that drier conditions goes in dry sawdust or straw. Mold control, airflow tests, and pest proofing. Let's talk about the 3 things that kill root, cellars, and how to stop all 3. Mold, the number 1 enemy. Mold spreads from produce that's already compromised, damaged skins, soft spots, anything that got nicked during harvest. The prevention is simple. Never store anything that's not in perfect condition. A bruised carrot goes in the kitchen to be used now, not in the cellar. Inspect everything before it goes in, and inspect everything monthly while it's stored. One rotting vegetable can spread mold to its neighbors within days. If you do spot mold on the walls or floor of your cellar, a solution of 1 part white vinegar to 1 part water scrubbed on the surface and allowed to dry handles it without introducing any chemicals near your food. Airflow, your venting system is your first defense against excess humidity and the stale air that encourages rot. To test whether your passive venting is actually working, hold a stick of incense near the inlet pipe on a cold day. The smoke should be drawn inward. At the outlet, it should drift upward and out. If neither is happening, your temperature differential isn't strong enough to create passive flow, usually because your outlet isn't positioned high enough or your inlet is too small. Widening the inlet pipe by 1 pipe size usually solves this. Pests, rodents are the primary threat, and they are persistent and creative. The defense is hardware cloth, not regular window screen, which mice chew through easily, but the rigid galvanized wire mesh with 1/4-inch openings. Cover every vent opening with it. If you're using a tote or barrel, make sure the lid seal is tight. For earthbag cellars, line the interior floor with a sheet of hardware cloth before adding your storage materials. It creates a barrier that even the most determined mouse can't dig through. Inspect the perimeter of any buried cellar in early fall before rodents start actively seeking winter shelter. Fill any gaps, pack soil tightly against the edges, and eliminate any wood debris near the entrance that could serve as nesting material. Seasonal timing, when to build, when to fill. Most people don't think about timing, and they should. Build in late summer, July through August. While the ground is dry and workable, wet fall soil makes for a miserable digging experience and compromises your drainage layer. Harvest and store in stages, not all at once. Root vegetables go in after the first frost. Cold temps convert their starches and sweeten the flavor, which is why frost-kissed carrots and parsnips taste so much better than summer-harvested ones. Potatoes go in as soon as they're cured, 2 weeks at room temperature after harvest to toughen the skins. Apples go in as late as possible, right before hard freeze. Check your cellar every 2 to 3 weeks through winter. Pull anything soft, rotate crates, smell for anything off. Your nose will detect rot before your eyes do. And in spring, as ground temperatures rise, pull your remaining stores and use them quickly. Once the soil warms above 50 degrees, the cellar's ability to maintain cold breaks down and spoilage accelerates. The long game. Here's what this really is, underneath all the physics and construction details. This is a food system that costs $50 to build and then runs for free, forever. A system that doesn't go down in a power outage, doesn't break when a compressor fails, doesn't need a filter change or a warranty claim. It's a hole in the ground lined with knowledge. And the knowledge is the valuable part. People who understand thermal mass and humidity and passive airflow have a skill that cannot be taken away. People who know that damp sand keeps carrots crisp for 6 months have options that people who don't know that simply don't have. The grocery store is convenient, but it's also fragile. And right now, more people than ever are looking at that fragility and deciding they'd rather have a backup. Your backyard root cellar is that backup. $50, 1 weekend, food for a year. If you have a shaded north-facing slope, a spare corner of yard, or even just a deep enough garden bed, you have everything you need to start. Drop a comment below telling me which build you're going to try first. The buried tote, the barrel, or going full earthbag. I genuinely want to know. That's it for me today. I hope you learned a bunch, and I'll see you in the next one.